Dr. Connelly, thank you again for being with us today and for waiting with us over the break.
Not a problem, Gary, and thank you for having me.
Tell us about your role working with the Georgia Chiropractic Association as a review agent.
Well, in Georgia, we have in our scope of practice, which is basically our law, saying that any opinion rendered about chiropractic care needs to be rendered by a chiropractic review agent. So presently there's about 20 chiropractors that are on the review agent list, and they have to meet certain educational qualifications, training qualifications, and experience qualifications.
You know, as with any profession, there are good doctors and there are those that are not, shall we say, as good. Dr. Connelly, can you give our viewers some red flags that they should be looking out for when seeking chiropractic care? What are some warning signs that should alert them that they may not be in the best practice for their injuries?
Sure, and in fact, I'll give you 5 red flags that you may not be seeing the right provider. Number 1 is that the doctor, clinic, or someone randomly calls the patient after an accident.
Well, I agree. This is a big warning sign. We call these people runners. They either work for a doctor, a chiropractor, or a lawyer, and they're able to somehow get a copy of the police report showing you were involved in an accident. And then they call you out of the blue.
Exactly. No one should be doing this. Not only is it unethical, it's actually illegal. It's a crime here in Georgia. But also these clinics tend to lead to other fraudulent practices as well. So these people tend to go to the clinics and they may have other issues as far as treatment's concerned, or as we get into some of the other red flags, you'll see some of the other red flags that they're pretty much known for as well. In fact, the insurance companies have a pretty good idea of who these problem clinics are, and so it is something where that's a red flag to stay away from.
All right, Dr. Connelly, share with us, if you would, another red flag.
Well, if you go to a clinic and you don't actually see a doctor.
Tell us more about this practice.
Well, I know it's hard to believe, but I've reviewed cases that basically the patient did not actually see a doctor, that they had went visits or weeks without actually seeing a doctor, or maybe they were getting treatment by an unlicensed staff member. So it is, again, a law in Georgia that in chiropractic clinic, the doctor has to be in the clinic. So it is important, if you're going to one of these clinics and you haven't met the doctor, ask to speak about to the doctor. But if you don't see a doctor, don't get examined by a doctor, don't get treatment by a doctor, that should be a red flag that you may not be in the right place.
And now number 3, if you would.
Sure, number 3 is a big one. If the doctor doesn't even examine you or treat you, believe it or not, there are clinics that just completely, that they have you fill out forms, or that they have an assistant perform some of the therapies, and that the doctor never examines you, never talks to you. And so it's very important, if you don't see a chiropractor or get meaningful treatment, that's a red flag that you may not be in the right place.
Well, I mean, this is certainly not a clinic that puts an emphasis on correctly diagnosing a problem and developing an appropriate treatment plan to help the patient get better. Okay, what is number 4?
Well, number 4 is that the chiropractor or doctor immediately refers you for MRIs or diagnostic tests, and basically, even to a certain degree, say, well, it's just good for your case. You know, we need to do this for your case.
You're right. This should never happen.
Exactly. The care and treatment should be based on medical necessity, not whether or not you're in a car accident or not. So there are some clinics that they routinely refer for an MRI just because of the fact you're involved in a car accident. These decisions should be based on whether or not it's medically necessity. And trust me, the insurance companies have the guidelines. They know when tests are done just for the purpose of running up the bills. And they also know what clinics do this on a routine basis. One question you could ask your doctor is, if this was not a car accident, would you treat me the same way? Would you order the same test? Because again, it's important not to go ahead and run up a bunch of bills or unnecessary tests if you don't need them.
Dr. Connelly, what is the 5th warning sign that you are in the wrong chiropractor's office?
Well, they may have you sign notes or tell you that you don't really need to come for therapy. You know, believe it or not, there's some that if you miss care, they'll say, well, don't worry, just sign this form and we'll go ahead and say that you came for a treatment. Or they may even have you sign multiple visit notes. Again, this is fraud. This is something where the insurance companies know that these clinics do this, and this should be a red flag to get out of there as soon as possible.
Bottom line, Dr. Connelly, why is it important for a person that's been injured in a car wreck to avoid these fraudulent chiropractors, doctors, and attorneys, and any one of these that use runners?
Well, there are 3 very important reasons. Most importantly, it's not good for your health. Number 2, the insurance companies already know who these providers are, and they don't fall for their tricks. So it's going to end up costing you money in the end because of the fact they're not going to pay for the services because they know they're fraudulent. And number 3 is that you're participating in fraud. So don't go along with their schemes. If you need care, get it. If you don't need it, don't worry about getting it.
Yeah, those are extremely important reasons for staying away from these mills and these runners.
Exactly, Gary. And with proper treatment, most people get better from car accidents. But a small percentage do develop permanent injuries. And it's important to really thoroughly assess these and make sure that they get the best possible treatment so they get the best chance for a full recovery.
Dr. Connelly, thank you so much for your time and your expert assistance with these important topics. How can our viewers learn more about you and about your practice, and what number do they call to schedule an appointment?
Sure. My website is painatlanta.com. That's PAIN Atlanta.com. Or you could also call us at 770-469-7330.
Dr. Connelly, you are certainly an expert in your field. I respect you, and more importantly, the insurance companies respect you, and your patients love you. Thank you again.
Well, thank you for your kind words, and thank you for having me.
If you or a family member have been injured either in a car wreck or on the job accident, then please get the medical help you need. And then call me to discuss your personal injury or workers' compensation claim. Just pick up the phone and give us a call right now. The phone number is 1-800-WIN-WIN-1. Again, 1-800-WIN-WIN-1. The consultation is free. It is completely confidential, and there is no obligation. Or you can check us online at GaryMartinHayes.com.